Japan, 1575. The land is torn by warlords hungry for power. Castles burn, alliances shift with the wind, and ancient families rise and fall in the blink of an eye. In the shadow of his legendary father, Takeda Shingen, the Tiger of Kai, a young and ambitious general now bears the burden of legacy. His name is Takeda Katsuyori. At just 30 years old, Katsuyori commands one of the most feared forces in all of Japan, the Takeda cavalry, veterans of dozens of brutal campaigns who wear their battle scars like armor. But as he sharpens his sword and rides westward, he faces more than just enemies on the battlefield. He must prove himself worthy of his father's name, even as his retainers whisper behind his back, doubting his leadership and vision. The tiger is dead, but will the cub roar or crumble? The lords of Kai await their answer, even as their enemies sharpen blades in silence. Katsuyori burns with ambition, determined to surpass the victories of his father. He surrounds himself with his most trusted generals, Baba Nobuharu, the unshakable pillar of the old guard, Yamagata Masakage, fierce and fearless, Nato Masatoyo, the voice of reason and restraint. Their loyalty is fierce, but even they sense a shift in the wind. Without the guiding hand of Takeda Shingen, the future feels uncertain, the path ahead fogged with blood and pride. In Kai province, preparations for war are almost ritual. Armor is inspected, horses fed with care, battle flags sewn with ancestral pride. The clan priest offers solemn prayers to the kami, asking for divine favor. Children recite the names of past glories, mothers sew charms into the tunics of their sons. Takeda warriors sharpen their blades, unaware that the world they know is about to change forever, that the rules of war are being rewritten. To the west, Oda Nobunaga watches. A master of cunning and cruelty, Nobunaga seeks to unify Japan under his banner, no matter the cost. His methods are unorthodox, his enemies many. But he is relentless. Alongside him is his loyal ally, Tokugawa Ieyasu, Lord of Mikawa, pragmatic, patient, and deadly. Together, they prepare for a confrontation that will change the course of history. In the hills of Mikawa province, a fortress named Nagashino stands defiant. Surrounded by rivers and dense forests, it becomes the eye of the storm. When Takeda Katsuyori lays siege to the castle in early summer, he believes it will be a swift conquest, a dagger driven into the heart of Tokugawa's land, a move worthy of his father's legacy. Inside Nagashino Castle, the defenders brace themselves. Food supplies dwindle, and arrows are counted with care. Morale begins to wane. Yet among them, one man stands resolute, Tori Tsunemen, a low-ranking samurai with the heart of a lion. He volunteers for an impossible mission. Under the cover of darkness, he sneaks past enemy lines to deliver word to Tokugawa Ieyasu, the garrison is holding, but time is running out. Captured on his return, Tsunemen refuses to break. Even as he is crucified before the castle walls, he shouts to the defenders, "Hold strong. Reinforcements are coming." His voice becomes legend. Reinforcements are indeed coming. Nobunaga and Ieyasu march with 38,000 soldiers, a massive force, united by strategy, loyalty, and timing. Nobunaga rides at the head, his red armor gleaming like a banner of fire. His banners bear the words, "Tenka Fubu, rule the realm by force." Ieyasu, calmer and deliberate, surveys the land and its opportunities, calculating every risk with the precision of a gambler who never loses. Unbeknownst to the Takeda, a trap is being laid, not of terrain, but of minds and machines, forged by men who understand that the future of war belongs not to the strongest blade, but to the steadiest hand. As the Oda Tokugawa army advances, Nobunaga unveils a revolutionary idea, an army of gunners. 3,000 matchlock muskets, divided into 3 rotating ranks, each ready to fire while the others reload. He drills them relentlessly, knowing that timing is everything. He personally oversees the drills, testing angles, watching recoil, studying wind. So he builds defenses. Wooden palisades stretch across the field near the Shitaragahara plain, just west of Nagashino. Behind these barriers, gunners wait, hidden like coiled snakes. The field is muddy from recent rain, perfect for slowing cavalry. His engineers dig trenches, sharpen stakes, and create choke points. Every step the enemy takes will be a step closer to ruin. He assigns his finest tacticians to position the arquebusiers with mathematical precision. Engineers reinforce the barricades. Scouts monitor Takeda movements. Every detail is accounted for, from powder dryness to the rhythm of volley fire. Nobunaga believes in overwhelming force, but not through numbers. Through discipline. Nobunaga studies his enemy carefully. The Takeda are bold, but predictable. Their cavalry has never known defeat. And Katsuyori, eager for glory and haunted by his father's shadow, is about to fall into the jaws of a new kind of war. Meanwhile, Tokugawa Ieyasu positions his troops in the hills, securing flanks and blocking escape routes with brutal efficiency. The trap is set. All that remains is for the enemy to charge. On June 28, 1575, dawn breaks over Nagashino. Mist curls over the grass like rising ghosts. Birds scatter from the trees. A stillness hangs in the air, as if the land itself holds its breath. The Takeda banners ripple in the wind, red and black, blazing with the fire of old glory. Katsuyori, clad in crimson armor that once belonged to his father, gives the signal. The cavalry thunder forward, hoofs pounding the earth like war drums. Hundreds of Takeda horsemen surge ahead in perfect formation, their war cries echoing across the plain. Their armor glints in the morning sun, their spears aimed like lightning bolts. This is the might of the Takeda, fierce, fast, and feared across Japan. They have broken armies with a single charge. They are legends. But this time, something is wrong. As they rush the palisades, a sharp crack splits the air. Gunfire erupts. Dozens of samurai fall in an instant, torn from their saddles. Still, the Takeda press on, refusing to yield. Then a second volley. Then a third. The rotating volleys never stop. Smoke billows, flashes of light erupt behind the barricades, and men scream. Horses rear and collapse. Warriors crash into blood-soaked mud, their charges halted mid-gallop by invisible hands. Confusion spreads like wildfire. Orders shouted by captains vanish beneath the roar of musket fire. Drums beat frantically. Banners fall. The ground becomes slick, not only from the previous rain, but from fresh blood. Veteran samurai, men who had survived campaign after campaign, now flounder in panic. Yet Katsuyori does not flinch. From atop a nearby hill, he watches the slaughter unfold, his knuckles white on the hilt of his sword. He orders another wave, unwilling to believe the truth before him, that his cavalry, the pride of his clan, cannot break wooden fences and lead balls. The greatest cavalry force in Japan meets its reckoning. Again and again, the Takeda charge, their courage unwavering, but courage means little against the mechanical precision of death. Gunfire reigns in unceasing rhythm. The wooden barricades hold. The muskets roar. The battlefield becomes a butcher's yard. Mud swallows hooves. Blood runs like rivers. Smoke clouds the sun. The rain from the night before has turned the ground into a pit of despair. Takeda generals, the pride of Kai, fall one by one. Baba Nobuharu, the veteran and loyal hound of Shingen, is struck by a bullet through the chest. He falls with a prayer on his lips. Yamagata Masakage leads a desperate charge, red plumes dancing atop his helmet, but he vanishes into smoke and is never seen again. Nato Masatoyo, wounded but unyielding, tries to rally the left flank, only to be cut down as a second volley tears through his ranks. The cavalry, once a tide that no army could resist, is now a broken wave. Riders circle back in panic. Horses bolt without riders. Men scream for help. Others charge blindly, determined to die rather than flee. Katsuyori watches in disbelief. He grips the saddle tighter. Every principle his father taught him, honor, fearlessness, aggression, is rendered meaningless before this new art of war. But still he orders more charges. To halt now would mean admitting defeat, and defeat would mean dishonor. And dishonor would mean death. By midday, the field is littered with corpses. The cries of wounded men echo across the hills like a dirge. Smoke hangs thick in the air, stinging eyes and choking breath. Yet Katsuyori prepares one last charge, not for victory, but for pride. For vengeance. For memory. Only a few hundred cavalry remain. The finest sons of Kai, bloodied and grim, mount their steeds for what they know will be the final time. There are no speeches. No banners. Just a grim nod from Katsuyori. They ride. And once more, the field trembles. But the gunners are ready. As they approach, the storm begins anew. The matchlocks roar. Spears thrust through gaps in the palisades. Arrows rain from Tokugawa's hillmen. Some of the Takeda reach the barriers. A few even leap over, cutting down gunners. But they are too few. The momentum is gone. Their strength is spent. In the chaos, Katsuyori is nearly pulled from his horse. An enemy spear grazes his cheek. Blood runs down his face, mixing with mud and sweat. 2 of his guards die defending him. He is dragged from the field, his armor shattered, his soul shaken. His dream of glory lies buried beneath the dead. It is not a battle anymore, it is a massacre. When the smoke clears, the Takeda army is broken. 7,000 lie dead, including many of its finest warriors. The thunder of battle fades, but the screams of the dying linger. Takeda Katsuyori, bloodied and broken, retreats into the mountains with a ragged band of survivors. Armor hangs in tatters. Horses limp and collapse. Some warriors weep, not from pain, but from shame. Once they were the hammer of Kai. Now, they are dust on the wind. Katsuyori rides in silence, the taste of defeat bitter on his tongue. His mind replays the day's horrors on a loop, the charge, the smoke, the fall of his men. Every death is a nail in the coffin of his ambition. He thinks of his father, Takeda Shingen, and wonders if the old tiger watches in judgment from the afterlife. Behind him, the plain of Shitaragahara smolders. The dead are gathered. Heads are taken, ranks confirmed. Oda Nobunaga, always methodical, surveys the aftermath with cold eyes. His tactics have been vindicated. The gamble paid off. Nagashino is his triumph, and a message to all of Japan, adapt or die. Tokugawa Ieyasu, ever composed, stands beside him. The battlefield has spoken, and its voice is clear. In the new age, the old ways have no place. Ieyasu watches the smoke and the vultures and thinks of the long road still ahead, a road that will one day lead him to the shogunate. Far away, the provinces tremble. News of the Takeda defeat spreads like fire through dry grass. Once loyal vassals begin to doubt. The foundation of the Takeda clan begins to crack. The retreat is not just military, it is spiritual, moral, and absolute. Across Japan, the Battle of Nagashino sends shockwaves. Daimyo and generals speak in hushed tones of rotating volleys, wooden palisades, and the thousands slaughtered. The musket, once dismissed as foreign and crude, now demands respect. No longer a novelty, it is a necessity. Samurai who once scorned firearms now demand training. Blacksmiths across the land shift from swords to matchlocks. Armor is redesigned, formations rethought. The very soul of the samurai, honor, swordsmanship, courage, must bend to the logic of fire and smoke. In the Oda camp, Nobunaga expands his vision. His enemies are not just men with swords, they are the past itself. And he will burn the past to ash if it stands in his way. He begins drafting new strategies, new formations, even new codes of conduct. His ambition now feels unstoppable. But every rise casts a shadow. Within Nobunaga's inner circle, Akechi Mitsuhide watches with unease. He admires Nobunaga, but fears his disregard for tradition. Every victory breeds arrogance. Every command, more ruthless. And in Mitsuhide's heart, something sharp begins to grow. Meanwhile, Tokugawa Ieyasu grows more careful, more observant. He plays the long game. He learns not just from victory, but from the cracks in alliances. The lessons of Nagashino are not just tactical. They are personal. They will shape him for decades. Takeda Katsuyori returns to Kai, a broken man. His generals are dead. His army is gone. His honor is in ruins. Vassals desert him. Rivals circle like wolves. The name Takeda, once a roar, is now a whisper. He tries to hold on. Fortifies castles. Sends envoys. Offers peace. But nothing can erase the memory of Nagashino. The mystique is shattered. The scent of defeat lingers on his every word. In 1582, surrounded by enemies and betrayed by those he once called allies, Katsuyori takes his own life on Mount Tenmokuzen. His wife and child die beside him. The tiger's bloodline ends not with a battle cry, but with silence. Oda Nobunaga watches the map of Japan shift. With the Takeda gone, the road to the capital opens. His armies march. His reforms accelerate. But the seeds of discontent have already taken root. That same year, in a quiet Kyoto temple, betrayal strikes. Akechi Mitsuhide turns against his lord. At Honnoji, Nobunaga is surrounded by fire and steel. He takes his own life rather than be taken. The architect of Nagashino, the destroyer of old Japan, dies by his own hand. The Battle of Nagashino was not just a clash of armies, it was the breaking point of an age. Tradition met technology. Honor met strategy. The result was irreversible. War would never be the same. 3,000 muskets behind wooden walls shattered the myth of invincibility. It forced every warlord to rethink everything. Courage, though noble, was no longer enough. Wisdom, adaptation, and vision would shape the future. In the years that followed, Tokugawa Ieyasu rose to power. He learned from Nobunaga. He remembered Katsuyori. And in 1603, he claimed the title of shogun, ruling Japan not just with strength, but with strategy born from Nagashino. And so, the battlefield became legend. The smoke, the mud, the fire, all etched into memory. Nagashino was not the end of war, but the dawn of a new kind. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this epic tale from history, be sure to subscribe for more cinematic stories from Japan's past. Until next time.